Welcome, everybody, to Sold on Love from the Orange Chairs. This is a podcast about real estate, real love, real life. I'm Paul, and I'm with my wonderful husband, Fernando.
Together, we are the Lord Sadler team, husbands, realtors, and business partners. In our podcast, we mix real estate tips with real life moments for our journey as a couple. With a 30 years-ish gap,
It's a lot of years.
working, living, and loving side by side.
So whether you're buying your first house or just love a good love story, want to buy a house, want to sell a house, there's definitely something here for you.
So, this
This
is
is Sold on Love from the Orange Chairs.
a
Podcast about real estate, real love,
real
and
life.
life. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about sort of how it all started, kind of why we wanted to do this, I guess. And what I mean by that is sort of our story, how we met, what we thought about our age difference, and there's a few years between us. How did we decide to work together in this business? And maybe a story too about clients and how hard the business actually is. Real quick, before I give it to Fernando though, you're probably wondering why the hell the Orange Chairs? I would love to tell you there's a really cool story, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I bought these orange chairs for a bar that I had in an apartment before we met. And I needed some chairs, and I don't know, I like color. I found these orange chairs, and they just sort of have grown a life. And now
He is a very colorful man. He likes a lot of
I do, which you wouldn't know because we're wearing black today. But nevertheless, I do like color, and these orange chairs just sort of were cool. And then Fernando, when we were doing our first pictures, when we
Yes.
were going to be agents together, right? We used these orange chairs in the pictures, and I thought they were freaking cool for starters. And two, we did get some feedback about how cool the picture was. And so it just sort of grew its own thing, and then it became sort of a thing for us that whatever we talk about, it's because it's live from the Orange Chairs. So that's the story on the chairs.
So let's start for how we met.
Oh,
You
dear
want to
Lord.
tell the story? Or
No,
you
no,
want to
you
tell
go.
the story?
You go, but maybe I'll jump in occasionally to set things right.
So our story is very interesting because each one of us has his own side of the story. So my side of the story is way different than Paul's.
It's not that different, but yeah.
So the real story is we kind of met each other in a pool party, but we didn't know each other at that time.
True.
So the story goes like this. I was invited to a pool party here in Wilton Manors by some of my friends, and he was invited to the same pool party by a friend, I guess.
Yeah.
So we were there in that pool party, and I was with my friend, with my really good friend, sitting there in the pool, and I saw this man in the pool with a cast in his arm, and I was thinking like, what the hell is he doing with that in the pool? So I used to be a nurse in the past for many years, and I was like, okay, he got surgery, he's gonna get infected to death, he's in the pool, right?
You were right in the nurse mode. I'm gonna get infected.
Yes. So I saw him getting out of the pool, and I told my friend, look at that man. And I said, you see that man? He's gonna be mine. But the problem was, when he was getting out of the pool, he was with a cop, and they were holding him. So I said, oh shit, he's married.
Was helping me get out of the pool.
Yeah, sure. So what happened is he got out of the pool, and I said, wow, he's very handsome. But he was with somebody, so I said, okay, never mind, he's married. But the next day, I was very curious about who this man was. I went through the invitation of the pool party, and I found him. And I sent him the friend request.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Let me tell you, that was super easy. It didn't take him too long to do it. Was 2 seconds after I say send request. 2 seconds after he
Okay, but that shouldn't be surprising. Look at you.
I'm just a normal guy.
Yeah, whatever.
Just a
Yeah,
normal guy.
okay, Mr. Norm.
So well, we started like talking a little bit. Like for 3 weeks, he tried to go out with me, but I was too busy with work and so many stuff that I was doing, so it can happen.
You're playing hard to get.
No, not really. You got me since the first day. So don't worry.
Okay, Chris.
So one day I was in my house in Miami, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm home today, just relaxing, resting." He said, "Do you have plans tonight?" And I said, "I'm thinking going to Eagle Hunters. What about you?" So what was your answer? Do
Well,
you remember?
first of all, for those that don't live in the community that we live in, Eagles and Hunters are bars that are really nightclubs, bars that are really close to us that we love to go to. So
So do you remember what you answered in that moment?
I think what I said to you, if I remember correctly, was that I don't have plans, but if you were going, then I have plans.
Yes, that is basically what you say. So I say, sure. What time you wanna go out? And he said 9:30. I was like, 9:30? That is like time for dinner.
Like Christ, yeah.
I mean, like nobody goes out dancing at 9:30.
That's true, but in my defense, I was thinking we would have a drink and talk. So,
Yeah, but that place is not to talk; it's to dance.
all right, fair enough.
More maybe.
Excuse me. Sorry, Mom.
So well, I say 9:30, sure, but I wasn't sure about coming that day to Winston Manors. So I was just in my house watching TV, and then he said like, "Hey, I know my way there. I'm gonna be in 20 minutes. Where are you?" And I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "Oh shit." I said, "Oh, I know my way, but it's too much traffic. It's like a car accident in 95. It's way too much traffic." I wasn't even ready. I needed to take a shower. I needed to get ready. It took me like 20 minutes to get ready. So I started driving, but super fast. I got there and I said, "Well, where are you?" "I'm here." So he said, "I'm just standing next to the bar waiting for you." And I go, "Okay." So I was super nervous. My legs were shaking.
Yeah, I was nervous
It was
too.
like hell. And I walked inside of the Eagle, and I saw him standing in the bar, and he just smiled big, like. And in that moment, I feel comfortable, and I say, "Okay, whatever happens, happens." So I smile back, and then he said, "Hello." We shake hands, blah blah blah, very very polite. We took like around for an hour, and he keeps staring at me like crazy. And I say, "What?" And he say, "Can I kiss you?" And I was like, "Oh my god." I say, "Sure." It was the best kiss ever. I was like, amazing. And in that moment, I say, "Wow, he's polite because he asked if he could kiss me." He got me in that moment. In that moment, I was entirely his.
Aww. That's cute. So that's kind of the version.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah.
It's,
I won't add anything else. That was close enough.
yeah, the story is.
I
it's
like
more than that. But
No, I like some of my elements in it, but the outline's perfect.
so what happened after
Look
that?
at that.
What happened after that kiss?
After that kiss, we hung out all night. I remember that. It was about 4:30 or 5 in the morning, somewhere in there. And I remember walking back to the car and with you. And I remember telling you I wanted to see you again, that I liked you a lot, and I'd love to see you again.
Yes.
You had plans the next day, I know. But we eventually saw each other, and bam.
Yes.
That's the
That is
quick
basically
version.
how we met. That is
Yeah.
the quick version.
So that's the quick version, but
Because it's a lot more. It's a lot.
that's the version that we're going with for today's show. So, but anyway, and ever since, I mean, to be brutally honest with you, I would say over the last almost 2 years now, right? We've been together almost 2 years.
Yes.
We have been inseparable, to be brutally honest. I mean, virtually every day we're together. We work together. We work out together. It's been an amazing 2 years already. I can't believe it's gone that fast. That's crazy. So one of the things that we both get a lot about is, and we'll, for those of you that are tuning in to see all the real estate things too, first let me tell you, this is not just a real estate podcast. We're going to talk about some things that we experienced, some things that maybe we could help you along the way. But this is really just about relationships too. And Fernando and I, some of our backstory also is we both have been divorced, me more than once. We both come from really great families, very different families though, but very great families where family is the foundation of who we are. And we have incredibly different cultures. And he's Colombian, and he's only been in the U.S. a few years.
Yes, actually I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
So I'm Colombian, he's American, and that for people when they see a younger guy with an older guy, they just immediately assume that it's for papers or for money.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is not the case. I already have my green card, I have my papers, I'm gonna be a citizen next year, and that process started way before I met Paul. So
exactly.
When people say that is because of papers, they are wrong. I am not with him because of papers. I am not here with him because of money.
Yep.
I make my own money.
Yep.
We work together as a team. We support each other. That's it, basically.
Yeah, that's so true. So, but the age gap part, it's interesting because people do tend to, kind of lapse onto that. And for the record, if you want to know what the age gap is, I'm 59 and Fernando is 29, soon to be 30 in a couple of months. Big milestone birthday coming up.
Yes.
Right.
But when people assume that because it's a big age difference, they also assume that he is the one that support me, take care of me, and all of that. And it's not like that. We support each other.
Definitely.
We take care of each other, and like any relationship is, we need to learn at the beginning what we like, what we don't like, our hobbies, our dreams, our goals, and in that time we find out that we have a lot of the same goals, the same dreams. So that age gap different from this became this because you don't see your partner as older than you or younger than you. You see your partner as an equal. So I will say that age doesn't matter when you really love somebody.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. In fact, that's really well said. It's hard to explain that to people unless they sit down and get to know us. Because when people spend some time with us, I think they realize the age makes no difference at all. It's not at all who and what we're about. Just an example, we have a very eclectic background that has really helped us in what we do for a living in real estate. I spent 35 years in the mortgage business as a senior executive for a couple companies traveling all over the U.S. So for me, being in real estate, it kind of makes sense, right, to be a real estate agent, given my years and years of knowledge on the mortgage side that I worked with a lot of realtors. And I've had the opportunity to purchase a ton of homes over the years as well, so I understand both the buying and selling side. So my 30 years different from him brings a lot of experience, though, for him to see and learn and know that maybe another couple maybe wouldn't have gotten, and it's helped us sort of dig in a little more quickly, I think.
So something very interesting about when we work together is we complement each other in our duties. Things that he does and things that he knows, I don't know them. So he teaches me those things, and the things that is like more technology things, like doing all the stuff in Canva, doing the stuff in work and all of that I'm more used to, that it's easier for me. I teach him that too. So we complement each other. Like it's not that he's gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. We complement our work with each other.
Yeah, I agree. And you can't really make that sound any better than just notice what's in front of us right now. He has his iPad.
Absolutely.
Now I can use that. I just had this ready. But and Fernando's career, he has just, for a guy his age, has just really well educated himself in so many different places. He already shared with you that he was a nurse, but he's also quite the interior design guy. He's got working knowledge in interior design and drafting, and he's also a professional photographer.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, just his knowledge there has helped us. And, you know, again, go think about our business. We do our own photos for all of our listings. And we do other photos for other people's listings because of his expertise and knowledge.
So if you need a photographer,
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
do everything.
He does fantastic work, I will say. And I tell everybody that because all you have to do is go look at probably my social media page and realize he looks a lot younger than 59 sometimes. And it's because he knows the power of really good editing.
Yeah, so if you want to see more of my work, you can go to lordsofphotography.com. That is my website.
That was a very well-placed infomercial moment. You did a great job there. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about maybe why we decided to work as a team, because that's also an interesting dynamic. And I want to be clear, so for everybody out there listening to this all sounds rosy. We make all this sound rosy, rose-colored glasses. Trust me when I tell you, we have our moments like every other couple.
Yes.
We've had the ugly arguments, the disagreements that we both look back and say, what the hell are we thinking? Or you name it. And it's not that this has been easy, because quite honestly, we're still growing. I mean, we've only been together 2 years, married just over a year.
Over a year.
We're new in the real estate agent game, so to speak. I don't really think we're new, but if you want to put a label on it, we've got just a couple years in it. So there's lots of things that we're learning as we go. And so it's interesting how we got into this, because I had no plan that this was going to happen for me.
So at the time that I decided to take my real estate class, I was just meeting Paul at that time.
I think you'd already started the class, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't start? Okay.
When we met, I didn't start my class.
Gotcha.
When I started my class is when I basically moved to Wilton Manors. That is at that time.
Okay.
So I was taking my class. Paul was thinking about, what do I do next in my life? What is next for me? And we were talking, and I said, you know what? Why you don't take the real estate class too, and we can work as a team. We can start working in a company as a team, and that will be something new for you.
Yeah.
And that is how basically we decided to be part of a team as realtors.
Yeah, it was actually a very smart transition for me, to be honest with you. I mean, I truly didn't know what I was going to do next. I had left the large organization I was with, and I was sort of floundering around trying to decide what to do next, and sprinkle in a few health problems here and there. And a move from California to Florida, back to Florida, I was sort of all over the place on what life was going to be next. I truly didn't know he was going to be next either, but it just felt right. It felt like, this could work.
Yes.
Right? And that's...
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when I met Paul, I didn't know what to do with my life either at that moment. I just finished photography school like 2-3 months before I met him. I was going through a divorce, and it was hard, it was hard to know what was next.
Yeah.
But Paul was there for me in the most difficult times through that. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, I think we were there for each other, because we were
Yes.
both going through a bit of a storm.
Yes.
There was a lot going on. And so that's the other thing I think is cool, is that, we both probably, can't say maybe it was it certainly was one of the lowest times in my life for me, just what I was going through personally and trying to navigate through some of those things. And I think for you, not that it was the lowest point, because I know you made a tough decision to better your life, but ending relationships and breakups and things like that, they're never easy.
No, they are not.
Nobody ever teaches you what to do.
And how to prepare for
Yeah.
what's next.
Yeah.
So it's like you are so used
That's
to
such
be
a great
with
point.
someone, you are so used to be with someone in your life that when you break up with that person, you need to learn again from zero
How
to
to be
yourself.
yeah, how to
And
be
then
you.
when you are with somebody new, learn everything from zero too, because it's a different person, it's a different world, it's a different dynamic.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's hard not to bring a suitcase full of crap to every relationship. So
Yes.
trying to figure out how to unpack that. And we've spent the last couple of years together probably unpacking each other's suitcases a little bit full of demons and garbage. And we figure out sort of how to get through that. Not perfect, but we've certainly worked hard. And, you know, I think that's pretty impressive for the two of us. And again, you think about the age gap because I feel like I've gone through everything you can go through, but when I look at what you've gone through and what you've dealt with over the years, I no longer feel that way. I'm like, okay, you can still go through a lot of crap, whether you're 1 year old or 70 years old. Stuff happens.
Exactly.
So, I sort of got off that. So, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Pop
go
on.
ahead, go.
See, we always have something to say.
What you were gonna say?
Well, I was just going to talk a little bit about sort of our experience so far as realtors. I thought it would take just a couple minutes. And, one of the things we want you to get out of this from us is, we are not another real estate podcast that's going to be buy these leads, you'll do this,
No.
do these 10 things, and all these great things are going to happen. Because
it has been a very
that's
interesting.
BS.
It has been a very interesting journey in the real estate thing because when you take your course, when you take the class and then you pass the test, you think that it's easy. You think that it's just go there and sell properties. It's not.
Yeah,
It's
they forget to
not
tell you all the other
easy.
stuff you got to do. Oops.
Yes, yes. It's not easy. You have to be on the phone all the time. You have to be out door knocking. You have to be sending flyers all the time, creating, being in social media all the time, trying to get clients. And it's hard. It's hard to focus on that, and it's hard to do all the things that when you are starting this career they tell you have to do. So it's like sometimes the time is not enough to do that, but
Yeah.
also sometimes you just feel that you have like a rundown and you just want to lay in bed on a tired day because you are tired, and that happens a lot. That happens a lot when you work with your husband at home.
It's because I trained the hell out of him. I'm sure he's like, enough already. So, I think you said a couple things that are really important, just about all the things you have to do, all the things you have to do and things that, show up. But, everybody, I'm completely aware there's more than one way to be incredibly successful. And some people listen to this may be thinking, well, do this, do that, do that. And what we're saying is do your thing. We haven't nailed what our thing is yet. We're still working on things that work. What I will tell you, what works for us, what we do know, when we get in front of a customer, we are fantastic. We win the business. So for us, it's really learning how to get in front of customers or clients and be better. And that's the holy grail in our business, as everybody knows. And there are so many ways to do it, whether you do door knocking, whether you send flyers, whether you're on the phone. Everybody's different. And you know what? Maybe you don't even have to do those. Some people have naturally built-in client bases or
Yes,
come from real estate. Everybody's different.
Every real estate agent has a different, has a different way to do things.
Yeah.
Some of them just make their clients going door knocking. Some of them make the clients from social media. Some of them go and make the clients restaurants, bars,
Could be anywhere.
stores, anywhere. Some of them just already know a lot of people and they are well connected, so it's easy in that way.
Yeah, agreed. The kind of advice that we're saying, or maybe what we're telling you, is that if we could do over again what we didn't do the first year we really got into this, what I would say to you is stop worrying so much about knowledge, although it's hard to say that because knowledge is incredibly important also. But stop panicking about being at every freaking real estate class there is and
Yes.
things like that. But instead, really focus on your systems, whatever those systems are. We haven't nailed that yet either, but I do think that there's truth into having good systems, whatever those things are for you. And the one wish I think if we had started over, we had better systems obtaining clients. I think we spent so much time on education, branding, which by the way has paid off. I don't want to minimize
that. Was
that.
Basically our first year.
Yeah.
Taking a lot of classes, going to every class that every person told us in the company that we were before, and that is time draining because you focus so much in the classes that you forget the rest.
Yeah.
You forget that you have to be calling, testing, going out, door knocking, and all of that. So it's like they always tell you, go to this class, go to this class, go to this class. But the problem is like you don't have time for all of this. You don't have time to go to every class and then time to how would you
Yeah.
say it? How you
Yeah,
call that?
you just have to work your time. I mean, everybody. I think in any profession, I've never not been in a profession because that's why I think it's any profession. You have to learn how to budget and manage your time.
Yes, but
And
you have
that's
to
so
keep in mind
hard.
also that this is a career that is different. You are your own boss. And
Yeah,
and
That could be enough problem.
yes, and by that I mean you don't have to follow. You don't have to follow a boss telling you. Uh,
Oh, it's connected. Keep talking. Little technical
So-
difficulty.
you don't tell. So you don't have a boss that is telling you have to be in the office at 7 a.m. in the morning and you cannot leave until you finish all your tasks until 5 p.m. So you manage your time and it's more difficult when you do that.
Yeah.
I would say from that perspective.
Yeah, I agree. And, I know I mentioned this to you before. I spent all those years of my career, probably the last 20, in some level of executive presence in some level. And so I was used to having, I'd be in super early, I'd be the last one to leave typically, and then I had all these things I had to do during the day. There was a task, I knew it was coming up or
Yes.
knew to do it, and I had a boss, and a boss's boss's boss.
Absolutely.
Right. So I had someone telling me I had to get shit done. As a agent, my boss is my client,
Yes.
right? And so I'm at the speed of the client. And so when the client isn't there for me, getting my mindset that you got to make things happen, even though you don't have the boss, that was harder than I thought it would be. The transition took me a little while to get used to that because it's so easy to turn the pillow over on the cold side and go back to sleep.
Yes, it is. And actually, when I was saying before that I used to be a nurse, so I used to work a lot of hours, 12, 24, 48 hours. So I have to follow these hours. I have to go to the hospital a certain time and leave to certain time. And sometimes I couldn't leave. I have to continue working because if somebody didn't show up to get the next how you say
Shift.
it, the next shift,
Yeah.
yes, I will have to continue. So it's more difficult when you don't have somebody telling you that you have to follow like every single hour of your time and every single hour of your day, and then you have to complete every task. Sometimes there is days that you complete all of them, and sometimes there is time that you don't even finish one.
Yeah, that's so true. I agree. So anyway, it's just something to think about. So if you had a takeaway from our first podcast, other than maybe learning a little bit about us, and as we do, we'll obviously we'll get better at this, I'm sure. But as we keep doing this, you'll learn more about who we are. Who maybe we may have a guest every now and then to talk a little bit more about some things that we don't know.
Yes, absolutely.
And maybe even a guest that you could learn even more about who we are. But our maybe the best takeaway we could give you from today is, again, besides the story of how we met, which is really kind of funny. You want to know more, drop us a note and we'll tell you more.
Yeah,
but-
this was basically our first episode.
Yeah,
And even though
exactly.
we know a lot about how to do a podcast, we're still learning.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
here we are, like sometimes you get afraid of things if they are not perfect. And that's a
Exactly.
problem for me. I am a perfectionist. So everything has to be perfect, and sometimes I don't put myself out there just because of the fear of making a mistake.
Yeah, that's a
or
good
just because
point.
of the fear that it's not gonna be perfect for other people or make everybody's expectations. And I'm just learning to let that go, and that
That's
is
great.
when we decide today and say like, let's do it
Yeah.
and see what happens,
So-
and let's see how it goes.
I love that you said that because it just shows how different we are, but we always seem to end in the same place. But so you're very, I don't want to say structured, but I guess kind of, but you like to have everything in its order. And I'm Mr. Chaos. Now, you won't think I'm Mr. Chaos because on the outside, I'm all right. Things are clean. Things are where they should be. Open up a desk drawer. there's a whole lot of crap happening inside there. And that's kind of the way I am up here. You know, on the outside, I got it all together, and then inside, there's a lot of crap going on. So I'm sort of, let's just jump in and see what happens.
Yes. So
All right, so thank you for taking time to work with us today or listen to us today. I hope you got a takeaway or two of things, but I like to. I was telling Fernando, one of the things I want to make sure we get out of this podcast is just to make sure we leave something each and every time. Just so people kind of maybe can look back and say they learned something. So I would just say this: if you're thinking about getting into the business, or you're already in the business and you're struggling, you're not alone. But moreover, it's okay to restart. And I think we did that. We made a very big decision a few months ago to leave where I don't think either one of us thought we'd ever leave a particular brokerage we were at, just because it felt good for the first year we were there. But we knew we needed to shake the trees a little bit.
yes.
And we needed to make a move, and we did. And ever since we've done that, business has changed for us, and we've seen the change. Now we're both like, man, if we had just done this earlier,
before.
So my advice to you is get your systems in place early. And if you need advice on how to do that, we could help you a little bit. Keep tuning in. We'll tell you some of the things. We'll probably spend more time on the pitfalls and things that go wrong, but we'll try to be balanced on what they go right. But
Yes.
So any closing words before we?
No, I hope you see our podcast and wait for more.
Yes. So thank you everybody for tuning in.
So this is Soul and Love from the
Orange Chairs. Take care.